What's up, guys? Tugi here, back again with episode 2 of Nations United. Of course, in this episode, we will be going through the first off-season here in this series. A lot of questions heading into the draft. I don't know how many people we're going to have available to actually select, but this is going to be very, very crucial for the upcoming season. So let's not waste any more time, guys. Let's get to the draft. Now, as we've reached the draft, I will show you guys the order thus far and then let you know what we are going to be doing. Patrick Laine taken number 1 overall by the Maple Leafs. High elite potential. I believe I had him at low or medium elite, so not a gigantic amount of growth there. Olli Juolevi to the Devils. Chychrun to the Flyers. Logan Stanley went 4th to the Jackets. Jake Bean to Arizona. Luke Green to Vancouver. Keaton Middleton really grew in potential. He goes to Edmonton. Logan Brown to Boston, Dineen to Buffalo, Niemelainen to Montreal, Mahaura? Not sure. He goes to the Ducks. And then you have us at number 12. Problem is, and I have about 2 minutes here to show you guys this, the menu is going to take forever to load because of the unreal amount of players in this draft. But again, I wanted to show you who was drafted already so you can get a look and, just kind of a heads up for what you might be able to expect in the Islander series. Here's the problem. There isn't a single person. By the way, there are a couple of players like Eriksson Ek that I sent to the free agent list that have been re-entered into the draft. Problem is, we can't draft anybody for a very, very long time. So at this point, I think we're going to try to trade down. Hopefully we can get a first-round pick next year and maybe add like a 4th in this year's draft. We're going to have to probably do the same thing with the second-round pick because we're here in the 3rd round and we finally find somebody that we could draft. Sin Schlapfer. Okay. Sin Schlapfer from HC Davos in Switzerland. So, yeah. Actually, that's not even the Swiss League. Is it Davos? No, it is the Swiss League. What am I saying? So, yeah. Give me a second. And we'll trade down, and we'll probably take Mr. Schlapfer, because I'm not seeing... Oh, there's a Croatian here as well in the 3rd round, but I think we're going to trade down, guys. Of course, I'll show you the trades, but let's get down to business here. All right, guys, we have found a trade. We have been able to trade down. We didn't have our 2nd-round pick for this draft to begin with. Minnesota had previously given that up, but we trade our 1st-round pick, 12th overall, to Toronto for a 2nd-round pick next year and 2/3 this year. Not the greatest return. I probably could have gone for a lower pick or, a lower team and probably would have gotten more value out of it. But anyway, I am content with this. I will see you guys in the 3rd round. So guys, we've reached the 3rd round, and quickly I wanted to show you the draft order. It might be a little bit spoilerish for the Islander series if it goes the same way, but I know some of you would really like to see it. Toronto ended up taking Sean Day. You have Benson, Howden, Jordan Kyrou ended up being high elite potential. I wish he was like that for us in Vancouver. DeBrincat. Puljujärvi falls to 20th, where he's picked by the Bruins. Pierre-Luc Dubois, 21st, to Dallas. McLeod, Eriksson Ek, Sam Steele, Johansson, Gerard, Tkachuk. Matthew Tkachuk still went to the Calgary Flames, so that's certainly interesting. Parsons, Julian Gauthier is there. And that is it for the 1st round. Any notable names in the 2nd? Cliff Poo, Abramov, Kovalchuk, an elite goalie, to a medium elite goalie, to Edmonton. And that's, I don't think I'll name out anymore, but I'll give you guys a look at the name. Obviously some familiar names, including Evan Fitzpatrick. Also to Boston, so the Bruins putting together quite a team. But here we go. We have the 1st pick of the 3rd round because of the Toronto trade. And let's see who is available, who is higher rated. Again, the draft is just completely fucked. I scouted so many areas that didn't even bother popping up. But let's see here. We have the Croatian, and there's Schopfler. Okay. So, do we go with the defenseman, Ivan Pusic? I'm going to say Pusic? I'm not sure. That's a hell of a name. Or do we go with the two-way forward, Sin Schlapfer? God, this is the worst series for me to do because I'm not going to be able to pronounce any goddamn names. All right, so Schopfler is 20. How old is the defenseman? He is also 20. Oh, what do we do here? It's got to be one of these two. Mikhail Sergachev is still on the board. Holy shit. And then third, fourth round, we have a German goaltender. I'm going to go with the defenseman. Let's see what happens in terms of potential. Please be decent. High 7th. That's not the worst. He might still be a roster player. Not what we were hoping for. Now, our next pick actually wasn't too far down the road. 6th overall here in the third round. And I imagine we'll be taking the Swiss player Schopfler, or however the fuck you pronounce it. And the shitty thing is I can't just call him the Swiss because we're going to have many Swiss players. But I think he is probably our best option. I'm just going to go with him. I know the German goalie is there. But Sin Schlapfer ends up being high bottom 6. So far, this actually isn't going too bad. Even better, guys, now we have the 8th overall pick here in the third round. And with that, I imagine we will take the German goaltender that was available. I'm not even going to pretend like I remember his name, nor am I going to pretend, I should say, that I'm going to be able to pronounce it correctly. Just double checking here over the nationalities. God, I wish I could take Sergachev. Third, fourth round. I know we already passed the German. I'm just getting out of looks. So we have Geisberger, we have Peterman, we have Schwery in the fourth. We've taken a forward, we've taken a defenseman. I think we have to take a goalie. Stefan Geisberger from Dusseldorfer in the German league. Apparently we scouted him 10 times, which I don't think we did, to be honest. I don't remember that. But we will take him. High fringe starter, it says. He ends up being medium fringe starter. I thought this was going to be much worse. I thought they were all going to be AHL potential guys. So again, this isn't terrible. Our next pick, 98th overall here in the fourth round. Let's see who is available. I don't believe the other German we saw had been picked at this point. I don't think the other Swiss player was picked either. I might have to make a few trades as well to trade up because there are quite a few of these foreign players. And here we go. Now we have some options. We have a Belarusian Fakovsky, or Fakovsky. Jesus, that Falkovsky. There we go. That's a difficult one. See, he played for Ottawa. Jesus Christ, he's 6'7". What a beast. We have the German Simon Schutz from Ingolstadt. High AHL potential. And then we have the Swiss player Kay Schwery from the Sherbrooke Phoenix. Formerly the Lewiston Maniacs, how I wish they still were. And then we have a German goalie in Maximilian Franzeb from the Hamburg Freezers. So we certainly have some options, and I might have to trade up. Now, of course, we've taken one of every type of player. I'm going to go with my gut here. Stepan Fakovsky, 6'7", 227 pounds, from Belarus. Come on down. How good are you? High 7th D. That's good enough. I thought he would be an AHL pick. So we have 2 more picks coming up in the round, and I'd like to trade for at least one more. I want to draft everybody that's available there. So we're going to offer Montreal a pick. And guys, at this point, I think I'm already going to limit this episode to just the draft. I want to keep these episodes much shorter, make them much more watchable. So let's see, what can we do here? So we have 2 more picks here in the 4th, no picks in the 5th or the 7th. Jesus. And that's another reason I picked Minnesota, is because they really don't have that many draft picks in the first year or two. It's very, very rough. But let's see here. Montreal, can we get your 4th, that 5th, and this 6th? Can we get these picks? I'm going to be a little bit cheap here, but I'm going to go way down the line and offer them a 3rd. I think that's a bit fair. Hopefully they take it, and they do. I'm willing to do that. You know, we get 3 picks in this draft. Who knows who's going to be available 3 years from now. But I want to draft these guys early and make sure we actually have a little bit of a safety net in case certain players retire. Like, I don't know if Dennis Seidenberg is going to retire or not, given his age. So we really don't know what the roster is going to look like. But up next, who do we take? I'm going to take Franzeb, just because we know a little bit more about him. We know about Schutz as well. But the plan is Franzeb. Hopefully, Shaweri and Schutz are still there when the time comes. But Max Franzeb, high backup potential. We just have to survive this one pick from the Flyers. Please don't screw us. And they take Garland, so we are free and clear. The longest part of this is now waiting for these menus. I hate the early drafts so much because there's just so many goddamn players available. My God, though, there are a lot of Swiss players towards the end there. So up next, it is going to be K. Shaweri from the Sherbrooke Phoenix. Let's see how good he is. High bottom 6 isn't terrible. Any player above AHL potential really isn't terrible for us. And obviously in later years, we're going to see players popping up from random-ass countries. Like I recall a lot of players popping up from Romania that just had like no business being that good. Estonia is another big-time country that you constantly see pop up. But Simon Schutz will be our next pick, but I want to see who is coming up. Oh my God. Ludovic Weber. I know who we're drafting next, boys. Ludovic Weber will be our next pick. And then we have another pick here in the 5th round, Richard Bukarts, who I thought was drafted already, but I guess he isn't. There's another Swiss player. So yeah, we need to keep stocking up on picks. So let's go back up to the top here. We will draft Schutz, and I'm going to try and work a little bit more on my magic and get us some more picks here in the 4th round. Schutz ends up being high 17 potential. Again, that is more than acceptable. All right, guys, some deals have been done. We have acquired the next 3 picks from, I believe it was Ottawa, Toronto, and I think the LA Kings. We had to give up our 4th and 7th round picks in 2019, 2020, and 2021, but I am not too concerned. Let's draft our next couple of players, especially early on here, or not necessarily early on, but as we've hit about the middle of the draft now, and these players are still, coming up with really good potentials, at least for what we're looking for. Obviously, if we wanted to take this a bit more seriously, or if we were using the Islanders, we would be making different picks. But we are going to take our 3rd goalie of the draft, and it's an old face from the Bruins GM Mode series. It is Ludovic Weber. He ends up being high backup, which is perfectly fine. We now have 3 goalies that could very well make the NHL and at least be serviceable players. Any goalie over an 80 overall in this game, as we've seen, can be very, very dangerous. As it is, Andre Pavlik, who's an 84? An 84 overall goalie, as I believe what I said him at, 84, 85. Bottom line, just won the Stanley Cup. We have a new name here. Rodrigo Abols from the Portland Winterhawks is an option. Stransky is not. Then we have Thurkauf, Calvin Thurkauf, what a name, from the Kelowna Rockets. And then Richard Bukarts was there as well. We are going to go with the first Latvian in the list, Rodrigo Abols. Abols? I'm going to say Abols. 6'5", power forward from the Portland Winterhawks. Let's see how good he is. He's high bottom 6. Are we getting elite players? Are we getting top 6 players? No. But those should come in the future, hopefully. Let's go ahead and make our next pick. I might even acquire the next 4th. I want to get as many picks as I possibly can from this first draft. So let's see. It will be Richard Bukarts, the 2-way forward from the Portland Winterhawks, the Latvian. Let's see how good he is, and he is also high bottom 6 potential. We've made another trade, guys. Again, a 4th and a 7th, this time to the Calgary Flames from the 2018 draft, so we can get the next pick. I can't remember the guy's name already, because as it is, the list keeps changing every time we do this. But let's see, who is the next name to join the new look Minnesota Wild? Thurkauf is there. Is there anybody else projected in the 5th round? No, we have Suter in the 5th, 6th round. Pius, I'm going to say Pius Suter from the ZSC Lions, a teammate of Austin Matthews, I would guess. Matthew Hotchkiss is there. Who else do we have? We can't take Teuton. He is Russian. We have Fontana in the 5th and 6th. Austin Strand. Then we have Kerr, who is there in the 5th or 6th. Roger Kerr. Okay, so things are still looking pretty good for us in terms of players we're going to be able to pick. I don't think we're going to have to trade up into the 4th round again, and hopefully we won't miss out on anybody. But the next pick, it is Calvin Thurkauf from the Kelowna Rockets. Let's see how good he ends up being, and he's also high bottom 6 potential. Works for me. Here in the 5th round, we have back-to-back picks. Let's go ahead and make our selections. I don't think we have a 6th round pick. I think we have 1 or 2 7ths. I'm going to have to double check at this point. The question is right now, how much do I keep trading to acquire certain players? Which really I'm not against it yet, because we've yet to really strike out on a player. Our next pick, Colin Fontana from Lugano, the Swiss player. Let's see how good he is, and he is high top 6 potential. God damn, that pick really paid off for us. That's a very pleasant surprise. Does the list want to load? Indeed it does. Alright, who's next? Who's it going to be? I think it's another Swiss national here. Kerr has really jumped up. And then 5th, 6th, do we also have another player? Then we have Suter. We have Suter there, and we have Karras. Was it Karras? Kerr, Roger Kerr, exact 7th D potential. I'm going to pick him. He's higher up on the list. That's the only reason why. And he ends up being medium top 6 potential as well. We made a deal with the Devil, literally the New Jersey Devils, to trade up and draft Pius Suter. Unfortunately, he is the first player to be a little bit of a letdown, AHL top 6 potential. Jumping to the 6th round, where we have a Danish player, our first player from Denmark. It is Nick Anderson, who ends up being medium bottom 6 potential. And here in the 7th round, where we have 2 picks, I'm in a little bit of a tough spot here. As far as the rotation goes, the last person really projected to be drafted is Valeri Chistov, who has low AHL potential, just because we apparently don't have him very well scouted. But if we go by potentials, we have these guys here, including guys who are at top 6 forward potential, very well could be bottom 6, and defensemen who very well could be 7th D potential. And then going down to the players who we know their potentials exactly. Similar situation where we could really pick whoever we wanted. A ton of Germans and Swiss players down here, and essentially draft purgatory, not knowing if they are going to be picked. So we have a pretty tough choice at this point. We don't necessarily need a goaltender, so I'm really just trying to decide if we should go with exact or if we should go with players who have a bit more projected potential. Maybe we'll take one from each list. Oh, I'm not sure how to approach here. This would be great for a poll, but I don't have one. So let's see. We have 3 left wings, and we have a defender that we could take from this list. Fabian Haberstich, Chris Igley, I doubt it, and Makai Holdner, a sniper, is available, all Swiss. Then we have another German defender, Kai Wisman, and Fabian Heldner, 6'4", 214. Oh, what to do? You know what? I'm going to go with my gut here. I want Heldner, but Wisman has low league interest rather than none. And actually, really quick, all the guys down there have no league interest either. So we're going to take the German, and we're going to see what happens there with Wisman, I'm not sure, and he is low AHL top 2, so that is pretty disappointing. Is Chistov still available? He's not. He wasn't that great anyway. Pretty much in the same camp. So this will be our last pick of this draft here in the 7th round. Of course, like I said, and as you can tell, I'm sure by the episode length at this point, this will be pretty much the last thing we do. I think we'll take a look at their overalls, but other than that, that will do it. Who do we take? Who do we take? With the last pick we have in this draft, is there anybody? Stefan Loibel, I'm guessing is his name. Mikulovic we can't take. He is Russian. Oh, what do we do? Do we go with potential again, or do we go with exact? I think I'm going to go with potential again. Oh, who do we take? Actually, can I sort it by league interest? Is there anybody with low league interest? No, there is not. Never mind, there are some. But none that we can take, including Jenny's, who was actually a prospect of ours. Alright, shit. You know what? Heldner. I'm going with Fabian Heldner here for our last pick of this draft. He ends up being AHL top 2, at least medium. He might grow into 7th potential. But guys, that is it for the draft. Let's quickly move forward to the Resign phase. We'll take a look at the overalls and then finish up the Resign phase in the next episode. Alright, the Resign phase is here. Let's take a look and see if we can get any kind of idea of how good some of the players are that we just drafted. I also think we have a hell of a free agent period ahead of us here in terms of players that might be leaving and players that might need contracts. Ludovic Weber, 74. Franzeb, a 73. Geisberger, a 66. So not too bad. And of course, we still have Grubauer and Gudlevskis at the moment. I'm not sure if we will re-sign Jonas Hiller, and Truedel is going to be released. So at least we can get rid of him. As far as defensive prospects, Puzic is a 76, so that's not too bad. Fontana's a 71. Kerrer, a 70. Heldner, a 67. So I think we'll pretty much sign everybody and get them down in Iowa. So this offseason, there will actually be quite a bit of turnover because now we can start to trade away some of these guys. Rather than having them sit down in Iowa, we can trade them away mainly for picks, or really just for picks. But that way we can keep the cycle going of bringing in players year after year. But guys, that'll do it for this episode. I hope you did enjoy. Of course, in the next one, we will finish up the offseason and get a look at what this team will look like for Season 2. I have a feeling it is going to be drastically different, but I am excited for the process, and I hope you guys are too. As always, if you enjoyed, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, to continue following this series, and I will see you guys in the next episode.